The law of blossoming, the ultimate hack to get whatever you want. Now that's a pretty bold statement, but today I'm going to share with you exactly how to get what you want out of life, how to reach down into the depths of the essence of who you are to pull out the purpose of your life here on earth, and how to create this life, because this is the ultimate hack to blossom and break free of the cocoon, become this amazingly beautiful butterfly, because you have the Godforce inside of you, this God spark that is infinite. People might tell you you need to be enlightened, but you are enlightened. So don't listen to these people. Don't listen to people that are talking about law of attraction, because if you believe in the law of attraction, you believe there is something outside of you, and there is nothing outside of you. You are the ultimate creator, and I'm going to share with you exactly what to do today in order to become one with the law of blossoming. So welcome, evolutionaries. So as we look at the law of blossoming, I'm going to share with you something that I've shared with YouTubers, I've shared with gurus that teach roomfuls of thousands of people, and yet very few of them have actually taught this after I've advised them on what to teach. Because they tell me, it's like, well, Joe, it's all about the dopamine, meaning that they want to get their people excited, but there's always this missing puzzle piece. Now, have you experienced this, where you go and go, I feel great, and I go out and I try to do something and it doesn't quite fit? Even with Neville Goddard, I mean, he had some really great things, but he left out this one critical piece. And there's no real teacher out there that I've seen other than actually Jose Silva, who is, he's passed away now, but Jose Silva actually taught this. And maybe he, in my unconscious mind, is where I picked this up, 20, 30 years ago. But it is something that is absolutely critical with regards to creating the life that you want. So let's talk about this, because there's a distinction where Neville and all these other LOA teachers and this and that talk about, you've got to feel it. Well, you can feel, you can have, and say affirmations, you can have vision boards, you can have whatever until the cows come home. The cow jumped over the moon, or however you want to frame it. But you're not going to achieve anything unless you hit the right state. Now, there is something that is known, and of course this is called this is why hypnotists are stopping smoking and this and that are so effective, because it puts people into a trance. Now, what essentially is a trance? A trance is a state. So when you look at states of the mind, of consciousness, you've got gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and delta. So the key is to step into the alpha state. So let me kind of step back and explain at least two of these, or three of these states. So theta is essentially when you're born till 6 years old. So it's really a very cool state. It's actually a state of mind, if you will, that you're still really connected to heaven, to the other worldly realms where you came from. And it's really cool. And then, of course, from at 6 years old to 7, you transition into what's called alpha. In alpha, we, as children, become very creative. We're artistic, we sing, we do all these things because we're now attuning into this life. And then something crazy happens to us. Believe it or not. You know what that crazy thing is? It's called puberty. We discover like the other sex, or the other, exactly. And so from 13 on, or 12, 13, whatever, however that works, on for the rest of our lives, we live in a state called beta. And beta is a high thinking mind. So the thing that everyone fails to talk about is when they're talking about feeling, you got to feel good, you got to feel this, is you're still feeling that feeling in beta. I'm sorry, it's never going to work. It's destined to fail. You've got to learn how to drop into the state of alpha like we were when we were 6 or 7 to 12 years old. And at that point, we begin to permeate with that layer, that density of creation. Because at beta, we are outside of creation. And this is really where I guess everybody's talking about law of attraction, because you're outside of the God force. You are trying to attract something that is not aligned or attuned with who you are. And so with regards to staying in the alpha state, you are creating your blossoming, your pure energy, the frequency, the God gift, the spark of God that is within you. That was the resonance of the purpose of why you came here. And so as we look at this, let's take a look at this, because when you have a state and a feeling together, that's when you become a Magi. This is what I was talking about with regards to in some of my other videos. But the Magi is the expansion of the God force that takes over and conquers the ego. So you become more God in the human body, in the physical, than you are human. So you've gone from some portion of being more human than God to more God than human. And once you pass that 50%, that line, that demarcation, you begin to and have the ability to create. And what I'm talking about here is it's not a matter of just seeing 1111 on a clock or 2222 or whatever that number is. It's beyond this kind of crazy kindergarten. I'm just going to say kindergarten synchronicities, because that's really what it is. I mean, that's it's a baby step. You begin to not only have see that, but you have people, you have things come into your life that are there to propel you into that purpose. And so this is exactly how it works. So when you're the Magi, you are deepening this alpha state, this trance state. Because again, if you're in beta, you can feel all you want. But the key is to feel when you are in alpha. And so as you go deeper into alpha, you pass through level 1, level 2, level 3, and you get full permeation. So you pass through the surface levels until you get to really the depths of this solar sun, if you will, that is within your heart, this spark. And what happens is when you do that, the resonance of this solar sun begins to permeate out, and you have this incredible explosion and resonance that permeates not just a few feet away from you, but the entire world. It's almost like a wake-up call. It's almost like you found, every person at a higher level of resonance on the planet is now reaching out to you because there's something about you. They go like, what is it? And then they Google something or this or that, and then they find this name. I get these people that call me all the time from all over the world, and it's phenomenal the conversations that I have with these just brilliant people around. It's just crazy discussions. And the point is I am no different than you. I am just someone who is awakening the God force, remembering where I came from, just like you. So as we pass through, we are going into a deeper state of alpha. The deeper the state of alpha, the more the resonance, the illuminations happen within you, and that resonance, again, carries across the world and actually beyond the world. It's just this phenomenal thing that happens. And because of this permeation with regards to the depths of the forces of creation, which you've now aligned with or attuned with, there is nothing that can stop you. So again, as you're deepening the trance, and this allows you to, again, becoming the Magi, you're passing through, you're overcoming resistance, you're piercing, you're seeing into, you're entering, you're pervading. And here's really the cool thing is once you are in here, you become an influencer within this realm. And the deeper you go, you become an influencer in creating effects within each of these realms. So the deepening and then the expansion that happens. And this is so critically important. So again, and I love Neville Goddard. So, and most of you know that I've studied Neville for years, and other great teachers. But Neville, while he talked about the feeling fulfilled, he never really talked about entering the state. And again, many people, again, very few, if any, other than Jose Silva, I've ever heard explicitly. I mean, they may kind of talk around it, but Jose Silva explicitly talked about entering the alpha state and then tying that feeling to it. So let me show you a little bit more how this works. So when you are your present self and you're entering alpha, you transfer the alpha into that future state or that future position within time and space. And what happens is because you're now resonating within the alpha state and you're creating this feeling now begins to resonate and then permeate back into the present, which is where you are here. And what's important to understand is the deeper you go within the alpha state, the greater the effect it will have in the present. So this percentage will keep going up, again, the deeper you go. So when we look at the harmonic scale, which is the deepening of awareness, you go into the depths of alpha, which is the attuning of this feeling that you're having within this state to become a magi, so that you can perpetuate and create the future today. You're bringing a reality and creating a reality, your personal reality, within the construct of time and space right here, right now. And so it is absolutely imperative that you understand that before you implement a feeling to feel good, because if you just feel good, I mean, there's nothing wrong with feeling good. I mean, I love feeling good. But if you're trying to do and create, you've got to deepen your understanding of the laws. And these spiritual laws, people are very thoughtful. They go, well, I can repeat and I can define this law of attraction, whatever it might be. But the key is to understand the unfoldment and be within the law. I've talked about becoming. So you become the law. It's not a matter of just being able to go, oh, okay, that's great, and getting a little endorphin or a dopamine rush. It is becoming the law. And when you do that, all things will unfold for you. And so if you don't hit the state, you don't enter the alpha state, no state, no result, no matter what you feel. So you can feel good, but you're not going to enter or achieve whatever it is that you're desiring. And this is incredibly important to understand because you've got to become one with consciousness, for the lack of just another way of saying it. You've got to permeate, and I've talked about permeation before. Go into the depths and become one with consciousness. And this is what blossoming is. It's a blossoming, it's an unfolding. But you can even think about it as a reverse unfolding and going into the wellspring. Because this wellspring of God that is within you is ever so, it's never ending. So you can go deeper and deeper, and the deeper you go, the greater your awareness, the greater your ability to create. And the other thing, which I've talked to you about before, is guides. So the deeper you go, the deeper and the more relevant, the more interesting, that's probably a better way to say it, guides you're going to run across. Because when I go into meditation, and actually I don't even need to go into meditation anymore, I can walk down the street, enter an alpha state, and have conversations with guides and angels right here, right now, and they inspire me and share all these great information. As a matter of fact, that was really one of the keys to doing this video today, is they're like, Joe, you need to share this just because it's got to get back out there. And so entering the alpha state, because once you, again, enter the alpha state, you're able to go through and then interact with, I was going to finish that point I was going to make. And so you'll say you have angels and guides here at level 1. You'll have angels and guides at level 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, it's infinite. So the deeper you go, the more interesting, knowledgeable, resourceful. When we talk about someone like Nikola Tesla just being an absolute genius, he was in the depths. They went into alpha. And if you think about any great musician like Mozart, or any great inventor like Da Vinci, an artist, any great mathematician, they've all entered the alpha state. Now, they all will play, and how do you enter alpha? Well, certainly you can do it through meditation, but even that is somewhat tricky if you're not familiar with alpha. But let's just say, as an example, you're taking a shower or you're in the bathtub and you have all these great ideas. So the bathtub or shower, that is, the water actually puts you into an alpha state. So when you're in an alpha state, that's when all these great ideas, because you've now created this resonance. Or you listening to a great song. Music can put you into an alpha state. And it doesn't need to be binaural beats. I mean, that's cool, but it doesn't need to be. It could be it could be anything that puts you into a place where it just cracks you open. So you've created this resonance because you've stepped into the depths. And sometimes we do this accidentally. Sometimes we don't. Like, they're great in scientists that will walk off and start playing the violin, and then they'll have all these great, tremendous ideas because that music, it puts them into an alpha state. They begin feeling, and it opens them up because they've let go of what they were thinking about. And now, because they've let go and they've created a resonance with what they let go, it's now coming back to them by their guides. They've got this voice that shares with them. I was watching this great documentary on the Beach Boys and Brian Wilson. And of course, you can certainly hit an alpha state by doing LSD, which, there's a lot of great songwriters have done some pretty interesting things to crack their mind open. And I'm not suggesting you do that, but if you've ever done a psychedelic, like an LSD or a plant-based medicine, you will be aware of a different state of consciousness. Now, the key is, and this is one of the things that grandmother, which is the ayahuasca plant guardian, shared with me, that she told me years ago when I was in the jungles doing an ayahuasca experience, was to practice controlling the release of DMT. So in other words, you can take LSD or plant medicine and be like wide open. But the key is to be able to do and have that experience without any additional substances, which is what I've been able to do. And this is what I'm sharing with you. By stepping into alpha, you control, just like you're tuning a radio versus like, when you just like take a microdot or a dose or whatever of LSD, you're wide open. You are cranked open. And you can't necessarily control what you are doing. So by doing this and entering an alpha state and learning how to tweak and control the mechanism of exactly what you are attuning to, it opens and blossoms your ability to capture and lure in, and you probably saw my picture on the other side, the bumblebee coming into the flower. It wasn't a great picture, but but it's coming in to pollinate the flower. And that's exactly what these ideas, these thoughts happen when you enter the alpha state. And then once you enter the alpha state, again, you create the feeling of being and having whatever it is you want. Like Mozart, again, some of these composers, just brilliance. And it's the difference between writing music and then being gifted music. And so one of the things I mentioned in the very beginning of this is your life's purpose. So one of the key things to understand, and why so many people struggle today, is that they're trying to do something outside of why they are here. So let me explain this for a second. When I was a child, I was an artist. I know you can't really tell from this, but I won art scholarships. I won Museum of Fine Arts and Glasgow School of Art, and all kinds of like crazy things when I was like between, funny enough, 6 to 12, right? And then I got into sports because I hit puberty, so I was like trying to be this muscle guy, and of course I was varsity soccer and football and baseball, and then I stayed with soccer because like all my buddies got really big playing football. It's like I didn't want to get killed, but I actually became a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader in high school, but that's another story. Anyway, getting back to this. So when you understand, and because of my ability to draw when I was between 6 and 12, I really had the understanding of what it was and who I was connecting to, and it was an amazing, and I'm not trying to be braggadocious, but again, I won all these scholarships in art contests and things with museums and things. So it was really, really rewarding for me at that time. And I really kind of stepped back and revisited that and really opened up my creative processes again, which I think is part of why my guides kind of nudged me to do this video today. So getting to the point of purpose. So I drew this. So when you find your purpose, you're going to be laser focused right here. And that could be, again, as an artist, as a musician, a mathematician, a financial guru, whatever it might be. It doesn't really matter. But this is the laser focus. And the further away you get from your true life purpose, why you are here, the more diffused this energy, just like a laser beam on a light, the more diffused it's going to be. And again, if you're trying to, do something like crazy, that it just doesn't resonate with your heart. And again, you've got to feel like it's got to have this heart resonance. So we all need to, and I say all, walk heart first. And that's kind of an ongoing motto of mine is always try to lead with your heart and walk heart first. Because this allows you to, again, see beyond the veil. And this is part of what all this is about. So when you see beyond the veil, you're able to bring back, again, this resonance, this creative force back into the physical to have really whatever you want. So again, the more focused you are with regards to your natural gifts, and the further away you get from these natural gifts, the more diffuse it's going to be. So how do you find that out, or how do you rediscover that? Well, think about what you loved as a kid. It may not be like an astronaut, even though the moon is not real. It's a satellite. It's artificial. But that's another story for my insider group. Anyway, so but think about what you did as a kid, or like craved or loved as a kid, and then maybe apply that to, or some variation of that into your life today. And then what will happen is you will be ultimately incredibly happy. You will be and fall in love with life again. You will not struggle. You will work, but the work will be like fun. It'll just be like a great time. And the cool thing is you will make all the money that you need, and you'll have fun doing it. You'll eliminate the struggle because you've fallen back into your life's purpose, and you understand how to connect with that which is beyond. And so this is just kind of a quick summary of how to step back in and become the law and blossom, attune, and then step into, and then the deeper you go, it's kind of like when you're a kid, I guess. It's really cool, right? I'm thinking about, like, I'm in Texas, so I grew up swimming all the time, and I remember the first time that I went to the deep end and went to the bottom of the deep end. I thought I was like really cool, but my ears popped and hurt and stuff, like the very first time, right? So you're like holding your nose and you're popping your ears and stuff. You're sitting at the bottom, like 12, 15 feet down underwater. But that's what this is as well. So the deeper we go, it's going to be somewhat uncomfortable at first because we are experiencing something new. And this is, again, something that the gurus don't really talk about. So I'm absolutely thrilled that you're here, because if you're here and you are watching this, it means that you are infinitely destined to awaken and blossom into something that is just who you're supposed to be in this lifetime. And this is like crazy exciting to me. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you have questions about entering an alpha state. But again, an alpha state is simple. Just think about and remember the feeling when you're in the shower. I mean, when we're in the shower, we sing. We have these great ideas. That's just one example. Great music, a song that comes on, and we get a flashback to like when we were in high school or whatever it was, and that great time, that great feeling. That is the essential feeling of entering that alpha state. And then now you take that and you reform that like you would a potter, like creating a vase on a wheel. So you're creating the structure of this vase that you can actually put things into. This is really the creation. You're creating the vessel, the vase of your life, in which you are choosing what to fill it with. And you can fill it with struggle, or you can fill it with happiness and glee. Glee, that's an interesting word. I don't know if I've ever used glee before. Anyway, evolutionaries, I love you guys, and I am so happy to share this information with you. Remember, state plus feeling equals Magi. Magi is igniting the God force within you to illuminate all around you and send this resonance around the world so that you are and are recognized and seen and become the ultimate creator that you are. So with that, I love you guys and have a great, great week. And please leave me your comments. And experiment with this and let me know your results. Send me private messages if you don't want to send it in public, because I'm absolutely thrilled. And I get great notes from people all the time about who've applied some of these teachings. And it's just crazy exciting to me to see some of the lives that have changed. Because remember, you are that you are. I am that I am. And as you become that is the God force. So you're extending and deepening and awakening that God force. So I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.